Hi, Wycliffe Barrett here, Xplane dedicated. Today we're going to do the full flight of the Flight Factor A320 Ultimate. We'll see you right after the intro.
November 180 Bravo Bravo, good afternoon to you. Report your altitude? 2,000 feet on 1014, Bravo Bravo. Bravo Bravo.
As promised, I'm going to do the full flight for the Flight Factor A320 Ultimate aircraft. We're going to go from Cardiff to Manchester, so that's cold and dark start, programming the MCDU and getting the aircraft ready for departure and takeoff. You'll see the takeoff, a little bit of the cruise, and then descent into Manchester on a Mercy 1 Alpha arrival. It's a beautiful aircraft, it's got some incredible systems in it. Reading the manual, you'll find out that there is lots and lots of things that are done outside of Xplane, but within the aircraft, so it's got its own plugins which actually make it do all sorts of things. In particular, manipulation of the buttons, dials and knobs and switches, which is totally different from within the Xplane environment. This is within the aircraft environment, so it's done totally different. Flight Factor have learnt a lot of lessons from their other aircraft, and they've put them all into this Airbus, which is superb. Anyway, let's get into the aircraft. I've done the walk around already. Everything looks okay. There's no dents or scratches or dings anywhere on the aircraft. The tyres look good. Let's get going. Here we are then, we're on the ground and I'm using the Google Earth API. So you can see me on the ground there, stand 10, circling it. And I suppose we better get things going. So the first thing we need to do is turn on ground power and air power. Or the air cart, should I say, and then check the fuel. So it's a short flight. I think I've got 9,000 kilos here. I don't need anywhere near that, but we'll put it in. So you just adjust the fuel and put it in. The same with your passengers, although you do have to call for stairs or gate starting. You'll see the stairs light up there. And then I'm going to put 2/3 of passengers in, so we'll press on set there, which is what I've done. And the same for cargo, of course. You've got to call the baggage handlers, and you'll see them pull up at the side of the aircraft there, and then just set the baggage there, or whatever you want. You can fill it in if you wish. I've just used the default settings there. So that's that done now. So we can get rid of the stairs, we can get rid of the baggage handlers, etc., and we can get rid of the fuel truck. Now let's go through the tabs. This is our performance page, which has all the weights of the aircraft, etc. And at the bottom left hand side there's a button there that you press called set, and that sets all the weights into the aircraft. There's your checklist, that's the web browser, there's some settings, and this is the Google Earth API there, right, showing me on stand 10. Right, so obviously the first things we need to do is get some power onto the aircraft. So ground power is available, turn that on, then the batteries, and then align the ADIRU, or ADIRUS. ADIRUS is the acronym for that, so align those. Whilst I'm here, I'll do a fire alarm test. Normally you hear the sound of that, but I've got the volumes turned down in the aircraft because it can be extremely loud, and I want to be able to go through everything and make sure that I've got it all right. So once we've got power on the aircraft, we just need to wait for the glassware to do its self-test, which takes about 40 seconds. You can see it's already come on, which is excellent. There we go. So just putting up the flight control screen on the lower ECAM, and then just to check, because we'll need that in a little while, obviously, when we put the trim in. Just checking through the overhead, make sure everything's okay. Turn on the fuel pumps, turn them all on. There we go. And then just turning on some of the lights. You can put on lights as you wish. You want your emergency lights armed. I wouldn't put on your landing lights or anything like that, because with better pushback, which I use, if you do have your landing lights on, you'll blind the tug driver, and you'll have to start the process all over again, waiting for a new tug driver. Okay, so it's time to program the FMC, sorry, not the FMC, the MCDU. I'll have to make sure I remember that. MCDU, Multifunction Control Display Unit. Short flight today. We're going to go from Cardiff to Manchester, so we need to put the flight ICAOs in here. So EGFF / EGCC. Okay, and obviously there is no flight plan though, so you just apply it and then align the IRS. Put the flight number in, so this is going to be Speedbird 2302. Those of you who know me know that I fly Speedbird 2302 all the time. Cost index of 2020 and cruise altitude of 180. So I'm going to put 180 in here, and it puts in the top of climb temperature, or the cruise temperature for you, which is quite unique. Need to check our block fuel. Now we can request zero fuel weight, so do the request, and the block fuel is 9.5, I believe, 9.5. Now all the other numbers and figures over on that weights page, they go in time. So we need to start our departure, and we're looking for a Brecon 1 Alpha departure, runway 30. Scroll down to Brecon. There we go. Click on Brecon. Now we put in the airway, which is November 864. November 864 into the airway side via, and then Monty. Okay, Monty is our next waypoint. Click on temporary flight plan. We don't need that, so click on temporary flight plan and then insert flight plan. There we are. So that's the flight plan inserted. We just need to do the arrival into Manchester. It's going to be runway 23 right. And there we go. 23 right and a Mercy 1 Alpha arrival. Once again, click temporary flight plan and then insert that temporary flight plan. So the flight plan is no longer temporary and it is inserted. Okay, just clicking through, see if we've got any discontinuities. I think there is one, there normally is. There it is. So click on clear and then click next to the discontinuity, and that gets rid of it, and then insert the flight plan once again. Okay, so that's the flight plan done. You'll notice that there's some figures missing there, obviously, on the right hand side, but you know, this speed figures. You've got the flight levels but not the speed. Now we come to our takeoff page, which we need to fill in. So shift is 300 meters. Flaps is generally 1/+1. I haven't had any problems with anything else. Now the flex takeoff temperature is 32 degrees plus the temperature outside. So it's 10 degrees outside, so it's 42 for the flex temp. Okay, that seems to be the takeoff page done. So I think what I'll do is I'll start the APU now. So you can see me starting the APU. And we'll come to the APU page here. And you'll see the flap open. Once the flap opens, the EGT will go up, and percentage on N will also rise at the same time. There you go, flaps open, EGT and N percentage climbing there quite nicely. So that's really that part of the aircraft done. We need to make sure we get a squawk code in there, so you need to double click clear and then put in 2200 is standard if you haven't got one. You'll notice now that all of the figures have been populated on the init page there. So once again, we're almost complete. The preparation of the aircraft is really quite straightforward. We can get rid of the air unit and the ground power unit now. We don't need those. We're still on the stand 10, but it'll be time to call for pushback. So I use better pushback, as you can see here, so I'm just calling better pushback up. Let's have a look. Where are you? You can set keys. You can set a key or a button to start better pushback, but I just go to the menu. So we need to sort out where we're going. Turn the red icon to the right there. Click enter.
Plan acknowledged.
And yeah, there we go. So now all I have to do is call for push and start, or start pushback, should I say. There we go. I've called for the tow truck, and you can see the tow truck there. And once he's connected,
all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
he'll tell me to that pushback is commencing. I can start engines. Just check the overhead one more time. Always like to check everything, make sure there's nothing spurious, no lights coming on. Release the brake and then start the engines, and we'll be pushed back. There we are. So we pushed back. I'm sorry I cut the film there, but you can see engine 1 is starting. And don't forget, of course, you've got pop-out windows as well, so you can pop out, you know, the ECAM display or your primary flight display or navigation display. You can pop those out. So engine 1 is spooling up very nicely. We'll start engine 2 in a moment. Just checking the MCP on the glare shield. Start engine 2. Immediately you can see that engine 2 is starting, spooling up, ready for our taxi down to runway 30. So we'll find some music and we'll do that taxi. Okay, here we go. We're taxiing down now to runway 30. Once again, looking at the Google API map there of Cardiff Airport and the taxiways. I wouldn't recommend taxiing just using this. It's a little bit inaccurate because, but you know, it's nice to see where you are on an airport and see where you're going anyway. So here we are, coming down to runway 30.
Approaching 30.
As we get on the runway here,
30.
all we need to do now is engage auto throttle, push the throttles forward, engage auto thrust. I'll wait until I'm airborne and fly a little bit of the SID myself by hand. A beautiful aircraft to fly. Very responsive, and of course it's got the excellent fly-by-wire. Reaching speed, pull up to 15 degrees, let go of the stick, and the aircraft stays exactly there. Hitting AP1 and auto throttle now. Any moment now, there we go. And the aircraft will turn on the Brecon 1 Alpha departure and get us heading towards Manchester. There we go. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. So let's have some more music, and whilst we do this little bit of a cruise, and when we begin the descent, you'll hear from me again.
Altimeter setting. Altimeter setting.
For those of you who are wondering, this is Xplane 1105 stable version using SkyMax Pro 4.6, and also I use FSGRW as my weather engine. So just in case you was wondering about that, and as you can see, it does look rather nice. So we're just coming up to the top of climb. You can see the little whisker there on the left hand side. They do have a special name for it and I can't remember what it is, but anyway, you can see the little tick there, just circled it. So that's the top of our climb, and then we have our cruise towards Manchester and the Mercy 1 Alpha arrival to runway 23 right. And you can see me here. I'm just filling in the approach page of the aircraft, so it's a case of putting the QNH in, the temperature at Manchester, and also the wind on the runway at Manchester. So really quite straightforward stuff, and that is your approach phase completed. You also need to choose your landing configuration. It's giving me a land 3 configuration, so that's the one we'll be using. Okay, so still a short way to go now, so let's enjoy the rest of the cruise and some more of David Cutter. Turning towards Mercy now, and we're well into our descent and heading towards Manchester. Now, the Mercy 1 Alpha, as drawn in the aircraft, is slightly, well, it's right, but it's impossible to actually land from it. You approach too close to the airport. So I'm going to vector myself a little bit and give myself a good 10-mile approach into Manchester. Otherwise, if I continue to follow the plan, I certainly won't make it. So you can see that I'm just turning off there onto a different heading, and then I will come around to 23 for runway 23 right. It's much the preferred way to do it, rather than following the star completely, because unfortunately you just won't make it. Nice wing view there as we skirt Manchester city centre. Coming around now to 230 or 233 to be exact for the ILS into Manchester Airport. We're just over Saddleworth Moor a little bit, out to the east of Manchester. You will hear terrain warning, but that's there's plenty of space between me and the terrain at 2,500 feet. But you will get that terrain warning as you come over high ground. You can see there's quite some distance. So here we are. Nice wing view as we come in on that approach to Manchester, runway 23 right. Sun is sinking in the sky a little bit, but it still looks really quite nice. Let's have a look at the other wing. Very nice indeed.
Flaps, flaps.
Here we are then, coming down to runway 23 right at Manchester. A little bit fast, I'm afraid. For some reason the aircraft was not willing to slow down that much, but still we managed to land and stop within the length of the runway, as you will see any moment. I've got XP Realistic on as well, so this really feels like an EasyJet flight. as EasyJet tend to thump their aircraft down a little bit, but yes, we got down safe and sound, reverse thrust on, and turned off towards the end of the runway here. So turning off, making sure you clear the runway before stopping and calling for your follow me car. As I say, make sure you clear the runway before stopping and calling for your follow me car. Here is mine ahead of me. Excellent app or plugin for Xplane, which is simply called Follow Me Car. You get it from Jar Design. Absolutely excellent. Works with all aircraft, every airport, as long as there are taxi routes. So I'm just following him in now. I've speeded the film up here. I hope you found this film useful. It's taken me a while to record this whole flight, I have to say. I was hoping that I would do this a few days ago, but unfortunately, time constraints, etc., I've only just gotten around to it. Anyway, I hope you found it useful. Use this in conjunction with the other videos that I did regarding the A320, and you can't go far wrong. Clearly, this is a short flight plan, but making a longer flight plan is relatively easy. And I will do a video on just using the FMC. Somebody asked me if I would do that. Of course, I will create a video using the MCDU, not the FMC, MCDU. Okay, as always, my name is Wycliffe Barrett. Here we are on stand. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please give me a thumbs up, smash the like button, and we'll see you all soon. You take care now. Cheerio.